Hello and welcome to the Wolves Report Extra. Where I wanted to have a talk and get it off my chest about Wolves 0, Brentford 2. I'm sure I won't be alone in saying I did not see that coming. I wasn't expecting that today. I've been encouraged by the performances so far, particularly, especially as we got the result last week at Watford. And even despite Brentford going down to 10 men when Baptiste was sent off in the 64th minute, Wolves couldn't even get near. They couldn't even get a shot on target, and that's a real concern today. Some of the old problems, the old issues that under the previous management raised their head again today, and it was ugly. And as a few people have said, I think Brentford come and did a job on Wolves, and it's no more than they deserved. I mean, their antics in the second half, that's up to them, isn't it? So, but Wolves have only got themselves to blame today. I'm not blaming any official. Let's crack on with some questions if anyone has got any. Thanks to Kat Tyler, part of the podcast team here. Can I ask why Willy Bolly didn't play against the 6'4" striker? That's a great question. It's a really good question. Now, I can understand to a degree Wolves starting the same team that had won. If it's not broke, don't fix it and all that. But it gave Wolves a torrid time throughout the game. Now, I know Wolves took Sace off at half time because Sace was having a stinker, but equally, then you're letting Tony pair up, target Cody. Now, what chance has Cody got again there? It's just an unfair battle. I was surprised there wasn't two subs at half time. I thought Prudence or Hwang, we got one of them come on, and I thought a proper centre back like Bolly, who is built and ready to deal with big centre forwards, but no, I didn't see it, and that was really, really frustrating. I'm still really surprised. I've been digesting it as I've coming home, trying to make sense of the performance, and I can't. I spoke to a couple of people on the way back, and I'm just trying to put it together. It's really hard to put your finger on something like that when the performances have actually been really good. So where has it gone wrong? What's got to change now? We've got a cup game in the week, and then we've got another league game next Sunday. Wolves need to get back on it and quickly. Now, for me so far, the biggest problem, it's not for me so far, it's what everybody can see, is Wolves aren't scoring enough goals. There's not enough goals being scored. And today, not a shot on target. That's just simply not good enough, regardless of the opponent, newly promoted side or not. Not having a shot on target is not good enough. And yeah, as Skelly Bob just mentioned then as well, couldn't see us scoring. No, we didn't look like it. We didn't look like it at all. There was a few moments when we got into positions where we could deliver, where when it was a good delivery, there was nobody there. And then when other deliveries were wasted into the box, and it was frustrating, so frustrating to watch. But Brentford, a Premier League team now, they were 2-0 up, 10 men, they tucked in and stuck at it, and that was it. So yeah, very, very frustrating, very frustrating. The question from Kat Tyler, is this the end of three at the back? Now, I'm sure I've bored anyone that's listened to me or read any of my tweets on many times about this subject, but I really think it is. I can't see how we can keep progressing this way forward. Having three at the back is costing us a Prudence or Hwang on the pitch next to Jimenez, who again looks isolated. I mean, people commenting on Twitter, he's had to come so deep to collect the ball multiple times. I know later on he's took his headband off and thrown it in frustration. He's angry and frustrated because it is frustrating. It's really frustrating because, I mean, the other performances so far have been good. Today was bad. No shots on target, poor performance, and the result was probably deserved because Brentford were better than Wolves today, which is tough to swallow. So yeah, going back to what Kat said, what Chris said, is it the end of a back three? I think so. I mean, in the week, there's an ideal opportunity to bring Bolly back in. I think Bolly has to come in now, regardless if it's three at the back or with its two centre backs. It has to be now. Willy Bolly has to be in that side. We need that proper centre back in there that can head, has got strength. It has to be. So yeah, for me, I think so. Moving on to more bananas one. Now it's time for 4-2-3-1 with Prudence or Chang. Absolutely agree. I think he's got an opportunity in the week now to show this up, to try it out, to see what happens. I'd like to beat Spurs in the week, and you would think with Spurs' games being, I think they're surrounded by Arsenal and Chelsea and the Europa game last Thursday, you'd think this will be the least of the priority for Nuno at Spurs, and it will give us a good chance. So for me, I would definitely do that. I would try it in the week. I was actually speaking to Kat on the way home. I was having a chat earlier on, and he's like, this is an opportunity for the players not just to come in like the Forest game and they know they're not going to play, but this is an opportunity to keep the shirt, because defensively, he just wasn't good enough. And in terms of creatively, he wasn't good enough either. So 4-2-3-1 from the off, get someone closer to our wall, get an extra man in the box. Then, of course, it means sacrificing a centre-back. And I think it's, I don't know, people are split on this, but, and I know he played their centre-back today, but I just can't see how Cody fits into a back four. Cody was by no means the worst today, but they were all poor. There was no standout players. I think that's the most poor the whole team has been, or easily under this era, under this manager. Let's move on to another comment here. Steve Wollaston, no flow out four, and unlucky, just no tempo all game. Adama hit 4 crosses across the face of goal. Literally can do no more. Yeah, and that's a fair point. I know fans got frustrated with a couple of his deliveries that were a bit long and a bit wayward some of the time, but he did get in those positions and he did put a few balls into the far post. Now, and if there's nobody at the far post when you're crossing it, that's kind of not your job, because if you're putting it across the face of the goal, that's the number 10s, that's the left wingers, or that's the centre forwards job. So people again will see and no assists for Adama, but you're right. I think, Steve, you're right there. Put another man in the box next to Raul, someone that can feed off the scraps. Give someone else. I mean, Adama will beat his man and he will put crosses in the box. So, but if he's only got one target, then he hasn't really got much of a chance. So, yeah, thanks for your comments, Steve. Moving on to Mikey, can't score and can't defend, recipe for disaster. I worry for us. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit worried myself after today. But then to add some balance to that, what I would say is that Wolves, this is the first poor performance in the league so far. You can't really judge the cup game because it was against sort of an opponent that played much of their reserves. But this is the first poor performance. And for me, the worry was it's highlighted the worries and the problems that happened under Nuno previously. So got an opportunity on Wednesday to address that. Let's move on to another comment here. Tom Pegg, we weren't passing the ball quick enough compared to previous games this season. Yeah, I would agree with that. But I think, and reluctantly, I'm going to have to give some credit to Brentford in that, because I don't think they let Wolves today. I think they had a plan. I think they lined up, I think it looked like 3 in midfield against our 2. They didn't really give us a chance. And that looked like a team that had done their homework against our 2. And tactically, Wolves have been done by Brentford today. I'm not happy about it, but sometimes you have to admit on the day that you're being beaten by the better side. And I think that was the case. Painful, but Wolves have got to learn quickly. Moving back to the centre-back discussion there, more bananas again with Bolly and Kilman. Yeah, I think that's a possibility. I think we may see that on Wednesday night in the Cup, but I think more likely, because it's a Cup game as well and he's fully fit, I think we'll see Mosquera and Bolly starting as a 2. I think now is the time to move to a back 4. I would always give them an audition, because as I mentioned earlier on when I spoke to Chris, that if Wolves do want to move back to a back 4, when you know what, well, we probably do need Bolly. Kilman's in with a shout. I know Mosquera hasn't really been proven yet, but this is an opportunity for him. So I would like to see Mosquera and Bolly proven tried it in the week. Another comment from More Bananas, more worried about the scoring than the 2 mistakes for the goals. Yeah, and that's a fair point. There was something a little bit more to cling on to in previous games when we'd created and missed or saved or goal line clearance. Today we didn't have that, and that's a worry. That is a concern. But again, reluctantly, I have to give credit to Brentford. They did a job on Wolves. That shouldn't be the case. Partially, I mean, the wrestling for the penalty is just ridiculous. He's given him a warning, and he's done it again anyway and given the penalty. And then Max Kilman wasn't particularly great for the sliding tackle when Ivan Toney broke clear on the left hand side. So So the mistakes were punished today, but Wolves have only got themselves to blame. At half time, I'd have made 2 changes. I don't think you should have put. Not that it made much of a difference, but I don't think you can put Cody as a centre back in a back 4. Delighted to be proven wrong, but I just can't see that, and I think 4 is the way forward now. The comment from Chris: "What's your preferred lineup, Ryan?" That's a great question. For me, as mentioned earlier on, more bananas mentioned time for 4-2-3-1 with didnt or Chang, Huang, should I say? Sorry, yeah, that's definitely what I'd be looking at. I also what was really frustrating today, and I know he did it a bit at Watford and had a little bit of success, but I really think that Trincao is much less of a threat when he's on the left hand side. Now I know he's left footed and he can deliver, and he can deliver, but when he's on the right hand side, he brings Semedo more into the game and other players into the game. So I thought that was a little bit wasteful. And the same with Adama. I know Adama did put some balls in there, but I do prefer them when they're inverted. I think Wolves look better that way. So preferred lineup. Marcel he did get 2 assists last week. Had a tough time in the first half, but did well with the goals. Good defender. He's had a bad game today. Going forward, didn't really offer anything. Aït-Nouri starts in the cup. Aït-Nouri starts, I think, and I think that's his audition, because if you lose at home 2-0, then you've got to look at your alternatives. And I like his drive, his positivity. He's got a lot of pace. And for a team that's not scoring goals, we need players in the team that can offer a little bit more to help with the goals for chart. So I'll be looking at bringing Aït-Nouri in. I do like Semedo. I wouldn't change that. And then it'd be, for me, it will probably be Bolly and Kilman, probably a bit soon for Mascara. I think Sace and Cody drop out of a back 4. But looking at today, the way Tony just bullied and ate up Sace and Kilman and Cody, I think Bolly has to come in a team now. I think he starts on Wednesday, providing he gets through that fit. He starts again on Sunday against Southampton. I don't think we can move away from Moutinho and Neves. This was the first poor pairing of them this season. I wouldn't really want to change that. I think one bad game doesn't justify that, and those two have been really good, particularly Neves and Moutinho as well. Obviously, on the edge of a new contract, looked really good, but today they both look leggy, tired, a bit scrappy. So that's a first this season that we've seen that. And then I'd like Trincao right, Adama left. I'd probably go didnt in the 10, and at the moment I'm thinking Jimenez, because Jimenez was quiet today. Now Jimenez may improve if he gets a number 10 next to him, but if he doesn't, he's been isolated. So in the week, would I start Huang down the middle and give him a shot at the number 9 shirt? I probably would, because we need to score goals, we need to make things happen, and we need a bit of confidence before going to the Southampton game. Give me 1 second. What we got here? Moutinho corners and free kicks are awful. Need to change our ideas with set pieces. Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. That's the case. I think that should happen. To be honest, I would just like the ball whipped into the box. I know we scored last week at Watford, but I'd like the ball whipped into the box with some delivery, with some pace, and just like whipped it in swing or out swinger, but hitting with a bit of pace, aiming. Be a little bit more simple that way, but let's see. Coming short towards this end of the broadcast, just wanted to get some Q&As out of the way and let people have a chance to ask some questions and have a little rant myself with some medicine, really, other than my Doom bar as well. So, didnt in the 10, Wang Jimenez again says more bananas. Yeah, I think that's worth a shot in the week. I wouldn't be adverse to that at all. Yeah, you said great minds again afterwards with that. So yeah, just a short video today after the game. I wanted to get a little bit off my chest in terms of how I have a thought and share my thoughts. And obviously when you guys are asking some questions, it provokes as well. And hopefully I learn a bit myself. But thank you for joining me on the post-match where unfortunately ended Wolves 0, Brentford 2. I hope you'll join us for our live podcast later in the week, probably Thursday or Friday after the Southampton game. Have a good evening, or sorry, after the Spurs game. Have a good evening, all.